In fashion, where trends just flash past, how do those big established brands manage to hit reset? I mean, the ones that feel like they've always been there. How do they not just stay relevant, but actually capture our imagination again? It's a tricky balance, isn't it, between history and what's next? Well, today on the Deep Dive, we're looking closely at exactly that kind of move. We're focusing on all the buzz around BCBG's Fall 2025 relaunch, and maybe more interestingly, their decision to bring celebrity stylist Dani Michelle into the mix. So our mission here is to unpack what this pivot really means for BCBG, why it matters in the bigger picture of fashion and branding today, and crucially, what insights you can take away about revitalizing a brand, the real power of influence, and maybe how to stage a comeback in any field, really.
Yeah, and this isn't just, another press release. It's interesting because a relaunch for a brand with BCBG's kind of history, that's a major strategic overhaul. It's definitely not just about a new collection. It's more like a redeclaration of who they are or who they want to be. And bringing in someone like Dani Michelle, well, that's not just getting an endorsement. It's like adding rocket fuel. It signals they're serious about reshaping their space.
Okay, let's get into that then. The main news. BCBG is relaunching, targeting Fall 2025. Now, we know BCBG, they're not new. They've been around for, decades? So for a brand that established, what does a relaunch actually involve? What are the stakes here? It has to be more than just, new clothes for the sake of them.
You're spot on. For BCBG, a relaunch isn't just a facelift. It's a massive strategic play. It's a bet on their future identity, really. It probably means they feel an urgent need to restate their core values, but in a way that clicks with today's market. Think about it. Fashion tastes change. Yeah. But also who's buying and how they buy changes so dramatically. What worked 10, 20 years ago might feel completely off now. So the relaunch is their chance to do this delicate dance, keep the loyal customers happy, maybe the ones who've been there a while, while also grabbing the attention of a newer crowd. Maybe younger, maybe just more clued into current fashion trends who might have, skipped over BCBG before. The risks are pretty big. You could annoy your base, right? But the upside, huge. Renewed relevance, bigger market share, a whole new story to tell. If they nail it, it can really boost their value. It's about defining where they're headed.
And it's not just that they're doing it, but when? Fall 2025? That feels deliberate. Why choose the fall season for something this significant? What makes that timing so important in the fashion world?
Oh, fall is absolutely critical. It's generally seen as the most important season on the fashion calendar, both commercially and critically. It's when brands usually show their most substantial collections. Think bigger pieces, more complex designs, often higher price points. We're talking outerwear, knitwear, maybe more evening wear. Things that allow for richer storytelling, And unlike, say, resort, fall collections get massive media attention. Everyone's watching, the critics, the buyers, the consumers. It tends to set the tone for the whole year's trends. So for BCBG, wanting to make a big statement, Fall 25 puts them right in the spotlight. It's the perfect moment for the industry to pay attention when you're trying to redefine yourself and show some serious design muscle.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. Tied to this Fall 2025 relaunch, they've brought in Dani Michelle, the celebrity stylist. This feels like more than just hiring someone good with clothes, is it? What's so special about Dani Michelle? Why is her involvement potentially a game changer for a brand trying to pull off this kind of relaunch?
All right, Dani Michelle is a major player, a real powerhouse in celebrity styling. Now, the sources don't list her specific clients right now, but her reputation. It's built on dressing top-tier celebrities for huge events, red carpets, big galas, magazine covers. And it's not just about the clothes looking good. It's about her knack for tapping into what's next. She doesn't just follow trends, she often starts them. She shapes the conversation, influences what people think is cool. The looks she creates, they get talked about a lot. That generates massive free publicity for the designers she picks. Her influence goes way beyond just fashion insiders. It hits the mainstream because everyone sees her clients. She's basically a stamp of approval.
So let's dig a bit deeper there. Beyond the high-profile clients, what specific skills or, connections does she bring? Because if BCBG is trying to reinvent itself and attract a different kind of customer, her value seems like it must be, more than just good taste.
Absolutely, it's multifaceted. First off, she brings instant credibility, like serious fashion cred. When a stylist like her works with a brand, it sends a message to the industry, to consumers. It says, okay, pay attention, they're serious, they're working with the best. That's an endorsement you can't just buy. Second, she just gets the zeitgeist. She understands what's resonating culturally, what feels right now, and she knows how to translate a brand's idea into looks that are aspirational but people can actually imagine wearing. That drives sales. Plus, her network celebrities, media, influencers, that's gold. It opens doors for placements for organic buzz that amplifies the message way beyond paid ads. She kind of bridges that gap between super high fashion concepts and what works commercially. She makes the new BCBG feel desirable, accessible. So yeah, she's not just styling, she's crafting an image, building a narrative, creating a moment people will notice and, importantly, want to copy.
Okay, so when you put these two things together, the fall 2025 relaunch and bring in Dani Michelle for the campaign, what's the combined effect? It feels like 1 + 1 equals more than 2 here. What's the synergy?
It really looks like a smart synergistic move. Dani Michelle's involvement is like hitting the accelerator on the relaunch. Her touch can instantly lift BCBG's image, change how people see the brand from maybe what it was to something new, exciting, really desirable. By working with her, BCBG immediately signals they're aiming for a more fashion-forward vibe, maybe younger, maybe just more current. She can help shape that new aesthetic, give the brand a clear, contemporary voice that connects with today's trends and culture. Her involvement creates buzz, gets people curious. Oh, Dani Michelle's working with BCBG. What are they doing? She becomes the tastemaker who basically validates their new direction, ensures the relaunch makes a splash with a very specific, appealing look.
This whole strategy really makes you think about how brands have to operate today, doesn't it? Is this BCBG move setting a trend, or is it more just reflecting how things are already done? Using influencers and collaborations to connect. And I guess, are there downsides? Like, could the brand get too tied to her look? Maybe push away some of their older customers?
That's a really important point about the balance. This strategy, it definitely reflects and maybe even reinforces current marketing trends. Brands today, especially in a crowded market, they can't just rely on old-school ads. They need that authentic connection, that cultural relevance. Using celebrity power, using strategic partnerships with figures like Dani Michelle, it's becoming almost essential to stay competitive, to stay relevant. BCBG's move shows they get it. It's about sending a powerful message through someone people trust and look up to. It shows a real understanding that things like influence, aspiration, cultural cachet, they're just as valuable as the product itself, maybe even more so now. It's leveraging personal brands to rebuild your own. Now, about the risk you brought up, it's definitely real. Any big collaboration has that challenge. How do you blend the new energy with the brand's DNA? You don't want the collaborator to completely overshadow the brand itself. Ideally, the stylist acts like a lens, right? Helping people see the brand in a new, fresh way, but still recognizing its core. It's about reinterpreting BCBG's essence through her contemporary filter. The hope is to draw in new people without totally alienating the legacy customers. But the calculation, I imagine, is that the potential reward faster revitalization, reaching a bigger, maybe younger audience, outweighs the risk of losing some existing customers, especially if that group was maybe shrinking anyway. It's a calculated risk for growth.
So wrapping this up, it seems like BCBG's fall 2025 relaunch with Dani Michelle leading the campaign style direction is a really clear example of strategic brand reinvention. It's not just a refresh, it's a calculated move using significant influence, a masterclass perhaps. And thinking about this leaves us with a really interesting question, I think. How do brands, and this isn't just fashion, it could be any creative field, how do you think they manage that tightrope walk? Honoring their history, their heritage, while making these big, sometimes necessary shifts to stay relevant and bring in new energy, new faces? And what does this particular BCBG Dani Michelle link up tell you about the sheer power of finding the right partner in today's world?
It really underscores that brand survival and success, especially in these fast-moving creative areas, depend on so much more than just the product. It's about really understanding market timing, nailing those strategic partnerships that actually resonate with people, and it's about having the guts to tell a new story, a relevant story that connects. It's using the right voices at exactly the right time to make sure your message doesn't just land, but genuinely shifts how people see you.